Okay, guys, so hello to everyone. Thank you to all our loyal followers for joining us today, this afternoon, for a webinar information session with the co-hosts, Huawei and Alpha ESS. So today we also, they have been generous enough to give away 4 prizes to 4 lucky winners today, including 2 Huawei GT watches and 2 Amazon Echoes. So stay tuned. At the end, we'll just run a little wheel and to announce the winners. And of course, if the winners are not inside the webinar, we'll respin to make sure people who receive the prize are here. So welcome. And today, briefly, we have Steve and Haider from Huawei and Victor from Alpha ESS. So Huawei will basically present their fusionsolar smart PV solutions for all their range, talking about their technologies in their products and also the new products coming out late or early next year. And Alpha ESS are going to be presenting their current products on the market, including the exclusive ones from One Stop Warehouse, their very famous and popular all-in-one ESS, Smile 5. And yeah, hopefully it's very informative for you. And please do feel free to ask any technical and contextual questions you may have. So without further ado, I will stop sharing my screen now and allow the panelists to introduce themselves.
Okay, yeah, I'll go first. Okay, hi everyone. My name's Steve Ruskin. I'm head of sales and distribution at Huawei. For those that don't know me, I started the industry back in 2013. So no doubt I've seen quite a lot of people in those last 7 or 8 years. So looking forward to doing the presentation. Thanks Ramsey and also One Stop Warehouse for the opportunity. So our agenda will be we'll basically I'll talk about the sales side of bankability, a little bit about Huawei as a company, and then we'll move into Haider Khan. So without further ado, I'll put you across to Haider Khan.
Good afternoon, everyone. Haider Khan, I'm the Product Solutions Manager for Huawei here in Australia. I've been involved in the solar business in Australia for the past 4 years now, and my previous experience has been in the transmission, distribution, medium voltage connections with another global manufacturer. I'll let Victor to introduce himself, and then we'll proceed.
Thanks, Haider. This is Victor from Alpha ESS. I'm the Business Development Manager for Alpha ESS Australia. I'm going to do a brief presentation on the product that we distributing through One Stop today. And yeah, just to get to know everybody, and great to be here.
Thanks, guys. Amazing. Thank you for being here also. So guys, this is around a 1-hour duration webinar. So stay tuned, and it will begin with the Huawei presentation. Then we'll move on to the Alpha ESS. Then a Q&A session at the end, plus the prize giveaway. So I'll hand it over to Steve.
All right, thanks everyone. So as I said previously, I'll do the company introduction, followed by Haider Khan for the residential and commercial. So Huawei is a Chinese company formed about 30 years ago. Has over 194,000 employees, 96,000 of those are in R&D, so about 45% of the staff is in R&D, so huge staff and volume for R&D. Fortune 500, number 49 in the world for Fortune 500, so very solid bankability. Good solid balance sheet as well. Also, when we're talking about revenue, 2019, over $219 billion, sorry, $120 billion in 2019. Then if you fast forward to 2020, $65 billion for the half year for 2020, with a year-on-year growth of 13.1%. So as I said, R&D, so Huawei has a really strong R&D presence, around 10% annually, or $70 billion over the last decade has been spent on R&D. So last year, around $16 billion was spent on R&D. So fifth in the world when we're talking about R&D spend. So Samsung, Google, Volkswagen, Microsoft, and then Huawei, number fifth in the world. So a giant for R&D spend. 80,000 plus for patents have been registered, and almost 90% of those were for innovation. So Huawei brand, so the brand is now got a lot more consumer recognition. Obviously had a little bit of bad news around 5G here in Australia. However, that's sort of has increased the profile of the company, whether it be good or bad. So we have sold, Huawei has sold over 240 million phones. People may have seen the phones around the world and also here in Australia. So number one is Samsung, number two is Huawei for phones. So a huge volume of phones throughout the globe. Almost 17% of the global market is Huawei on phones. So when we're talking about Huawei, they're a leading energy digitalization for a smart and sustainable world. So what does that mean? They have diversified their business in digital power. So they do a lot of site power facilities, so communication towers, DC facilities, so a lot of distribution centers. In the middle of the screen there, you can see the smart PVs, which we deal with day to day. So in the PV market, also Mpower, which is power systems for charge stations for EV cars. Also module power systems as well, embedded power supply and adapters and terminal devices. So yeah, so some good transition in the digital power. So Huawei over the last 5 years have been number one consecutively. So number one inverter manufacturer for three-phase string inverter. Over 130 gigawatt to date has been shipped. So I think, what do we do in Australia? Around 5 gigawatt, let's say this year. So 25 times that. So a huge volume of inverters have been shipped all around the world. So if you want to talk about Huawei only do string, they don't do central, and you look at the rapid change in the mainstream PV. So when we look back in 2014, you can see that string was fairly small at only 24%, and the balance was central. You can see if you flip the tables, actually flipped into 2020, and you can see that string inverters really getting stronger, around 62%, and about 80% we believe by 2022 will be string inverters. So as I said on the previous slide, so wanted to talk about Huawei global presence, not just in local. We can see it's number one in local region of China. However, it has taken over Europe, so it's actually number one in Europe. So 31% of the market in inverters is now Huawei, so really strong presence in Europe. So every other region other than North America, so Middle East, Africa, India, Asia Pacific, even Japan and Korea, and also Latin America. So with Japan and Korea, Huawei is the only Chinese vendor among the top 10 vendors. So you can see in the middle of the screen the global shipments. So Huawei leads the rest on both sides, on the left and the right side. So that's not, as I said, not just in all the regions in China. You know, you're talking about Huawei as a Huawei fusionsolar uses various large-scale scenarios in Argentina, Spain, Mexico, India, all the way through to the Chinese province. So a little bit, just want to talk a little bit about the history and also that Huawei is a leading smart string solution for all PV scenarios. So what does that mean? So Huawei's has been in business for over 30 years. It's been in telecommunication for over 30 years, and that level of reliability is what it has built their solar farm. So utility scale, they've been building for around 8 years now. So on the right-hand side there, you can see the 185. That's the 1500 volts, so the high voltage inverters, 185s, and the 90 KTL, which we're rolling out at the moment in Winton on the border of New South Wales and Victoria, 100 megawatt solution there at the moment project. So you can see those inverters. So that same level of reliability we've brought into the C&I scenario. So you can see the 100 and the 50 is the same profile as the 185 and the 90. And then you've got 29, 36 and 40. 29 specifically designed for Australia under the grid protection KVA of 30. In addition to that, we've got 8, 10, 12, 15, 17, and 20, all in that C&I SME scale. Then residential, hybrid ready, 2 to 6. All the inverters from Huawei are hybrid ready, 2 to 6. Then single phase, and then the 3-phase 5 and 6, all now coming with optimizers and also battery ready plug and play. So Haider will probably elaborate a little bit more in the next couple of slides. Also wanted to talk about the quality for Huawei. Since being in the industry around about 5 years ago, we had a lot of problems with some Chinese inverters. Fortunately, some good companies, really strong companies that offer really good attention to detail, all of their facilities, Huawei or robotics. So minimal human error, human interaction. Therefore, they can deliver a really good quality inverter with less than 0.5% failure rate. So you can see when you annualize that or look at that over 2014, when I was talking about all the way through 2019, they've sustained a less than 0.5% failure rate, which is pretty good given, as I said, back then we had a lot of problems with Chinese inverters. And we also evolved into stable and reliable quality, quality, and also that they've been in harsh environments, that is minus 40 degrees all the way through to the Middle East of around 50 degrees. So Huawei Australia is now in its 16th year in business. Over 400 employees, 19 are local, 90% of those are local. Got offices in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Perth, and have training centres in Melbourne and Sydney. Huawei also sponsor the Canberra Raiders, who finished in the finals this year. In addition to that, we were sponsoring Gold Coast Suns, who actually they were a little bit better this year, but wooden spoon as the previous year, so bad sponsorship, that one. So some of the other things that we do here at Huawei in Australia, you can see here that if you like AFL, 40,000 fans do in Metricon Stadium up there on the Gold Coast. All the Wi-Fi that was solution that was implemented there was all put together by Huawei. So a lot of good projects, not just in solar, but in Wi-Fi as well. We've also done some great projects here over the last couple of years, one being LD, so a really good relationship with LD, over 110 sites, or about 11 megawatt, not 110. Also, in addition to that, we've done Bunnings, so we're part of the Bunnings rollout, 10 megawatt rollout as well. So we've done quite a few Bunnings, and the last tender was actually specified for Huawei for Bunnings. Also, we were the major sponsor of the Canberra Raiders. You can see there's the new training facility in Braddon in Canberra. So we helped to put that together, which was a really good project. All right, so I think that ends where I am. I think I forgot to mention, so just regarding the warranty, so we do have a 10-year warranty on, that's a full comprehensive warranty. So it's also extendable to 15 and 20 years. So it's not a 5+5, it's a full 10-year warranty. So just sort of remind everybody of that, and then I'll move across to Haider. Whoops.
Yes, Dave, can I share the screen?
Yep.
Okay. Can you see my screen? All good?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so quickly move forward, and just a bit of a background where Huawei came from. So an ICT company, a telecom giant, manufacturing converters for reliable power supply of telecom towers. Reliability is a key thing. Outage costs millions. So from there, we have been manufacturing DC converters. And in 2011-12, we started this as a business unit. So from an accessory to a business unit and trend setting. So we started off in the utility scale solar market, and we started changing the market from center inverter focused, 2.5 meg, 3 meg block focused to string inverter focused. And the trends you can see from Steve's slides that the market is moving towards string focused solution, even in utility scale. The same inverters were used in C&I scenario with firmware limited to low voltage scenario. And at that time, a lot of competition was against multi-Mppt inverters in C&I rooftop. Doesn't make sense, more additional point of failure, etc., etc. But from 2018 onwards, we started seeing the competition is picking up their game. So inverters coming up with similar specs, similar features. And the question mark is there any independent innovation or more copying the trend of an ICT company? Our trend has been like we introduced IV curve analysis in 2016 and IV curve diagnosis 3.0 is what we are doing now. AI is inbuilt in the inverters. So SDS, the inverters can be integrated to trackers. And the AI in the inverter can direct the trackers through self-learning what is the best orientation, but it's the best angle tilt you have to be at this time of the day. That's what we are evolving into. Smart grid-tied is one reason why Huawei string in Australia, being one of the toughest grid code, we are able to get grid approvals for these solar farms through AEMO in record times, in 6 months, 8 months. The 100 megawatt that we are installing now, we got the approval in 6 months, and that was with the new electricity rules in 2019. So it all comes down to the firmware as well. Okay, so what we have to offer, this is a brief glimpse of our product range. In the utility scenario, we have smart transformer station, we have smart PV inverter, the management system. In the C&I, the inverter and the data logger or other communication modules. In residential, if you can see, up to 6 kilowatt, only one inverter platform, single phase or 3-phase. All are hybrid, and then the smart ESS, as well as optimizers. Focus on this residential scenario, you can see that we are fitting in all possible markets. So if you look here, this device, smart energy center in the middle, either single phase or 3-phase, up to 6 kilowatt, can be used as standard grid connected inverter with consumption monitoring with a smart power sensor, can be used as a full optimized solution with Huawei optimizers, or partial optimized solution if there are some shading issues or different orientation issues, or if the customer is after panel level monitoring or is concerned about voltages on the roof and wants a rapid shutdown on the roof, or if the customer doesn't have budget for a battery now, but doesn't want to spend for an expensive AC coupled battery, this 2 to 6 kilowatt single phase and 3-phase inverter has a battery port in it, direct plug and play. And this is our Gen 2 inverter. In a single phase, we call it Sun 2000 L1. And in 3-phase, we'll call it Sun 2000 M1. So Sun 2000 L1 and M1 are compatible with the backup box as well. So again, we didn't build in the backup box into the inverter because the inverter itself is very light. And our headquarters still thinks that Australia should have a very stable grid. So backup shouldn't be much of a requirement. If there is a requirement, that could be an add-on. Then the smart string ESS, the battery, 5 kilowatt hour modular, extendable up to 15 kilowatt hour per battery module. One inverter can connect up to 30 kilowatt hour. We'll go through it. So this solution targeting 3 important features: electricity cost, active safety, and better experience. We talk about electricity cost here. So you generate more PV and utilize 24 hours with the Huawei storage solution too. With optimizers, you can work around shadings, you can work around azimuths, tilts, and get more out of your PV. Again, more output focused. Then Huawei LUNA battery. Modular, 5 kilowatt hour modular, one power module, BMS on the top, can connect up to 3 5 kilowatt hour modules. String, we call it string because it utilizes the first module and drains it out first, and then the rest are used. So it is much more practical, makes much more sense if you want to add on modules later on. 100% DoD. The second portion is active safety. Now, what does that mean? Arc fault circuit interrupter. So this comes from, obviously, North American requirement, and the NEC European standard is also catching up with it. So the North American standard UL 1699B says that 98% of the arcs are series arcs. So there should be a mechanism when installing rooftop solar PV to detect series arcs. So what produces series arcs? Either broken cable, loose connectors, or bad soldered joints within the modules. If an inverter has to detect an arc, what are the challenges? So the arc will be detected as an AC overlay on the DC cable itself. And that arc can be deteriorated, attenuated, coming to the inverter because of a longer cable run. Or a bigger challenge to that is that any other electromagnetic interference on the roof or from any nearby electronic equipment might be read as an AC overlay on the DC, so which will lead to a lot of false alarms, nuisance tripping. So that's why other inverter manufacturers who have this in their system, they disable it by default. They have AFCI disabled by default because a lot of nuisance tripping. What do you expect from an ICT company who has a big AI and cloud business unit? We share the same resources to use artificial intelligence to solve this problem. More than 1 million data set of frequency spectrum arcs simulated and fed in the algorithm, and the inverter self learns. So frequent firmware upgrades. So in this scenario, in this video, the inverter has detected an AC overlay, converts this into frequency spectrum, and compares it to the algorithm. If it matches to the shape of an arc, then it shuts down in less than 2.5 seconds. And if you have a full optimized system, it will show you where the arc is. So that's the other benefit of having a full optimized system. It will show you where the arc is. Otherwise, it will just show that string 1 has a DC arc fault. We have been selling this feature in the M0 inverters. It's more than a year now. And I think we have 4 to 6 DC arc faults detected in this 1 year, and majority traceable to loose connectors. So if the AFCI feature is disabled by default, the arc persists. So no use of having an AFCI feature and disabling by default. AFCI enabled by default, disconnection in less than 2.5 seconds as per the standard. Internal test results are less than 0.5 seconds. And with full optimized solution, this is pretty standard with the optimizer solutions, you can reduce the voltage to a safe voltage level, 0 voltage in our case, just by switching off the AC of the inverter. and the backup box feature. So a separate backup box when you have a battery installed with the Huawei L1 or M1 series, you can install a separate backup box and rewire critical load through it. Then it goes to experience, aesthetics. This is the battery. This is the inverter. One fits all scenario. So Huawei battery, Huawei inverter, any other brand of battery, whenever you have two different brands and you are on site, there's always an issue. There's always a football game going on. I call the battery manufacturer, call the inverter manufacturer. So this will ease your life here. Same with the optimizers. You don't need any additional devices for the comms. The optimizers talk directly to the inverter through the power line communication cable. And you know if the optimizer is performing or not. With third-party optimizer solutions, you can't tell that. One service window, one app. So if you guys have been using Huawei when we launched it, you might remember that we used to have two apps, Fusion Home, Net Eco. A lot of people complaining, what's Net Eco for, what's Fusion Home for? So it's all integrated into Fusion Solar. The commissioning is also auto detection. You have to just, in this step of quick settings, you have to just select the accessories you have. So battery optimizer pairing is 1.5 to 3 minutes, the setup. And auto mapping. It is a pain with other optimized solution. It was a pain with our first gen, but with our second gen optimizers and the L1 inverters or M1 inverters, take a photo of the QR code. You have pasted on the paper with the orientations, upload it on Fusion Solar through the app, and generate with AI within seconds. So the photo isn't clear or you weren't able to detect or miss any optimizer, because the optimizers are paired already. On the left hand of the screen, you can drag the serial numbers of the optimizers which were not detected with this photo and drag them over here to the layout. Our first gen inverter had only the inbuilt Wi-Fi. And then when we were doing the Aboriginal housing, requirement was a 4G dongle. So that's what we kept a note, and we made it compatible with an optional 4G dongle or an optional WLAN-FE dongle. So WLAN-FE means that a Wi-Fi dongle plus an Ethernet option. So you unplug the end of the dongle and you can hardwire it to the router as well. And this dongle can connect up to 10 inverters, 10 devices. Fanless inverter, no string fuses, no LCD screens, no buttons. So the variable parts are eliminated from the solution. And it all comes down to how we design the heat sinks, which is a Huawei patented feature. And we have been using this in our telecom business. Imagine a power supply converter in a remote telecom site have to be shut down because of a faulty fan. So 30 years, our R&D has been specializing on the heat dissipation technology, and we use the same platform in our inverters too. Just the app. And with the ESS, you have 3 different modes: maximum self-consumption. So you can utilize power from the battery and the PV as a priority, fully fed to the grid, or time of use. So you can set these 3 parameters while commissioning it. And this is the map of the products. Sun 2000L to 5 KTL, which we launched in 2018, no longer available in Australia. And the difference between that and the Gen 2. You can see AFCI 4G dongle compatibility, Gen 2 optimizer compatibility, backup function availability. So a lot of things that were missing in the Gen 1 are addressed in the Gen 2 or L1 inverters. M0 and M1. So M1 inverters will be available Q1, 3-phase, 5 and 6. The difference is optimizer compatibility and backup function availability. Okay, let's move to the C&I. Okay, this has been naturally, because these are the same utility grade inverters, 130 gigawatt plus shipments, primarily utility scale. So naturally, this is the strong point. Same inverter platforms here. So what we have in the market now is this 50 KTL M0 used extensively. And the case studies that Steve shared, 50 KTL M0 and the 29.9 were the most used inverters there. We have 8, 10, 12, 15, 17, 20, 6 models here. M0, they will be upgraded to M2. Already CEC listed. The difference between M0 and M2 is optimizer compatibility. Then 29.9, 36, and 40, much awaited upgrade. They are upgraded to M3. So the old 29.9, which you guys, some of you guys are familiar with, have installed quite a bit with the 4 Mppts. The bulky one, that was a 42 kilowatt utility grade inverter used in quite a number of solar farms here. So that was derated specifically to 29.9 to keep it under the 30 kVA threshold. With 4 Mppts under 30 kVA, STCs up to 40 kilowatt. So that was a perfect fit to this market and was the best seller. Now we are upgrading it to M3. So the difference between that version and M3 is this one also has 4 Mppts, true sync per Mpt, a bit higher input current from 22 amps, now 26 amps, and optimizer compatibility. So despite having 4 Mppts, also has an option to hook optimizers. Sun 2000 100 KTL M1, which is in the market and is being installed quite a lot. There is a pro version, like P30 base, P30 Pro. There's a pro version for it as well. The difference between the base version and the pro version, price-wise, is I think $600, a bit dearer, but it provides you AFCI feature, which the base version doesn't has. Optimizers at this stage are the same for 50-watt optimizers used in the residential scenario. Those optimizers are compatible with these inverters as well. Which inverters? M2s, 8 to 20 M2, to 9, 36, 40 M3. So by next year, all inverters up to 40 kilowatt will be compatible with optimizers, and that is as an option. And for comms, you have the smart dongle WNFE or the smart dongle 4G. Both are optional, both are not provided in the box, are procured separately, and one-stop warehouse is also advised to, if there is a one inverter sale, sell this as an add-on. This one dongle can connect up to 10 devices. If you're using a smart meter, then 9 inverters, 1 smart meter. Larger projects or some projects where you need to connect third-party devices like weather stations or third-party meters, that's where you go with the smart logger. The old 29.9 also needed a smart logger for fusionsolar connectivity. The new 29.9 has that feature inbuilt. So when do you need a smart logger? When you have a third-party device to be connected, like a weather station, like a third-party meter, or you have more than 10 devices, or you have a 100 kilowatt inverter or a 50 kilowatt inverter by itself, and you need to connect to the router via hardwire. Then you need a smart logger. So just a snapshot of what's available with what. So 8, 10, 12, 15, 17, 20, M0 or M2. Difference between M0 and M2 is optimizer compatibility, AFCI, yes. Smart logger, smart dongle, FW and FE dongle, all are optional, can work with any of them. 29.9, 3640 M3, 4 Mppts, under 30 kilowatt, 30 kVA threshold, perfect. Built-in WLAN for commissioning, and for monitoring, 3 options: FE dongle, 4G dongle, smart logger 3000A, optimizer compatibility is there as well, and AFCI, yes. 50 KTL M0, this will be, now this will be the oldest inverter in Q1 next year. 6 Mppts, commissioning through the provided WLAN adapter that's in the box, and comms through smart logger 3000A or 4G dongle. 100 has the same. AFCI, optional, new version, the pro version. Just to note here, the smart logger 3000A can connect 80 devices at maximum, and it also has a 4G slot in it. So you can either hardwire with the smart logger, or you can use the 4G slot in it. Same optimizer, 450 watt. Then this is Huawei white labeled smart power sensor, warranty with Huawei, supplied by our distributors. This comes with 250 amp CTs, locked with these 250 amp CTs. So the drawback is commercial sites normally have much higher current rating, mains rating. So you need to go with a third-party smart meter in that case. So the third-party smart meters compatible with smart loggers are listed in Appendix A. We'll share it with you. But the good thing is the new 29.9, 36, and 40 M3 can also plug in some of those smart meters. So you don't need a smart logger in that scenario. Again, 29.9, 36, 40 M3, 4 Mppts, 8 inputs, much lighter, 43 kilo, higher efficiency. So the input current has gone from 22 amps to 26 amps. Now this is becoming very standard now. We all know the reason. Bifacial modules might be used more and more. Mppt voltage range, 200 to 1000 volt. The sweet spot, if you want to get this full efficiency, the sweet spot is somewhere around about 480 to 850 volts. Optimizers, 8 to 80 volts, so can be used with larger panels as well. So the whole thing with Huawei solution is to minimize levelized cost of electricity. Now this is how solar farms work. So balance system, minimizing the balance system cost, minimizing the O&M cost. CapEx might be the same as another multi-Mppt, multi-string solution or a central solution if we talk about solar farms, and getting much higher yields. Optimizer compatibility, so you have, other than the MPPTs, you also have another option to work around shadings, or if a tender is specifying rapid shutdown, you can use our optimizers. So getting more out of the PV on the roof, as well as safety, which we will be discussing later. Multi-Mppt gives higher yields. So single Mppt inverter with multiple strings, one string shaded, or on a different tilt, or a different azimuth, will reduce the output of the whole Mppt. Where in our solution, which is now proudly copied by others too, one string shaded only reduces, only that Mppt reduces power. Active safety. So accept the 50 and the 100 KTL base, all inverters next year onwards, when the M3 is available, would have AFCI as a standard offering. So 150% better. So we assure the accuracy of the algorithm for 99.9%. And UL 1699B, the American standard, says 80 meter run. We assure the accuracy up to 200 meters. And the American standard says 16 amp. We assure it to 26 amps. So tailored for C&I. Full optimized solution can give you rapid shutdown. And full optimized solution can also give you arc fault positioning with AFCI if you're using a trade 9.9, 36, or 40 and 3. Module auto mapping. Inverter maintenance free, module smart diagnosis. AI, power electronics, natural cooling, COM technologies, big data. This is what we deliver in the solution. Even for a rooftop, 2D barcode paste on the template, physical layout creation in a rooftop scenario is 40 seconds. So imagine doing that for a 100 kilowatt array with another system. This is true again. Take the photo of the QR code and upload it on fusionsolar and generate with AI. Failure rates, again, coming from the telecom background, availability is a key thing. Utility solar farms, availability is a key thing. So if you talk about failure rates, our shipments and return, if you talk about that, our failure rates are 0.5%, less than that. If you talk about design predicted failure rates through MTBF, is 0.4%. And if you talk about a failure rate using a 700 megawatt sample certified by TUV, that's 0.39%. So it's pretty good. Smart dongle, either it's WLAN or FE, can control 10 devices. Very handy in multiple inverter scenarios. IV curve diagnosis. So conventional offline diagnosis for a larger solar farm, you send someone on site for a whole day, 1 to 10% sample scanning, manual data analysis by the engineers. And what we do is an online diagnosis. So Huawei's vision has been to put digitalization in the lives. So whatever can be digitized should be digitized. And once we had those string sensors in the inverter inbuilt, and we had those data in digital form, we put all these algorithms back in 2016, we put all these algorithms to analyze the IV curves and match these IV curves to 14 different types of failures. And what do they reflect? TUV certified this algorithm, and then we have continuously been evolving this algorithm up to IV curve 4.0 next year, which will have some surprises for you guys. So what's happening now at the moment is for a 20 panel string, for example, if you run an IV curve analysis, this will show you which inverter, which string has what problem. So you can shortlist 20 panels, 100% string scanning, and that report is generated in less than 10 minutes. This is something which we have been implementing since 2016, not that we just came up with, 7 gigawatt plus globally deployed applications. It's a license feature, free up to 20 kilowatt inverters, but a small license fee just for the value it provides in O&M. Okay, so these are some configurations of Huawei inverters. This is 8 to 20. You can use it as a base scenario or a full optimized scenario. Over here, you can use a 4G dongle or a WN-FE dongle. So you have 4G, WN, and FE options to connect to fusionsolar. And smart power sensor can also connect directly to it. Single inverter scenario with a 29.9, 36, or 40. Those of you who have installed the existing 29.9 or the old 29.9, they will know that you need to install a smart logger with it. But here, you can use it as a base scenario without optimizers. You can use a full optimized scenario. You can use the 4G dongle, WN dongle, FE dongle, and you can connect Huawei meter into it, as well as the third-party UPM209 directly into it. And if you have slave inverters, you can use them in conjunction to it too. So you have a UPM209 connected directly into the 29.9, 36, or 40, and you have slave inverters, 2, 3, 4, whatever. So you can see smart logger is being eliminated from the solution. If you have a third-party weather station, if you have more than 10 devices, then you go for a smart logger. List of meters compared with a smart logger. So Yanitsa, Chen, this is Huawei, this is provided by Huawei, and Algodia's UPM209. Socomec Countess E43. I think the most affordable after this DTSU is the UPM209. And the meter, third-party meter, which can connect directly to the 29.9, 36, and 40 M3 is the UPM209. So the portfolio, so the differences between M0 and M2, M0 is available, 8 to 20 M0. This will be upgraded to 8 to 20 M2, ready for order, and CEC listed already. The difference between them is the optimizer compatibility and the features associated with optimizers like pinpoint arcful positioning and 0-volt module level shutdown. 29.936 version 1, the one that you guys have installed with the smart logger. The difference is all these new features: optimizer compatibility, AFCI, dongle compatibility, and a much better price than this too. 50 M0, we don't have 60, sorry, 50 M0, that will remain the same. 100 KTL M1 and 100 KTL M1 Pro, the difference is AFCI. So Q1 onwards, all the optimizers, or all the inverters, except the 50 and the 100 base, will have AFCI as a standard. All the optimizers all the inverters up to 40 kilowatt will have optimizer compatibility and the features with optimizers as a standard. Okay, so that finishes my part. I'll hand over to Ramsey or Victor to go from there, and then I'll answer your questions.
Awesome. Thanks to the Huawei guys. I think we'll jump straight to Victor due to being conscious of time. So Victor, why don't you take it away straight away?
Sure, thanks, Ramsey. I think we're a little bit behind the schedule, so I'm just trying to make it a bit quicker, just to make it, more fun for everybody. Yeah, today I'm gonna introduce you guys to Alpha ESS. Many of you have heard about Alpha ESS before. So just a bit of a background on the company itself, on Alpha ESS Australia, and also the product that we offer through One Stop Warehouse, and what's about to happen with One Stop and Alpha. To start with, a bit of a background for Alpha ESS. We mainly focus on, we only focus on energy storage system. And we established the company back in 2012. That was like 8 years ago. And we have developed many sub companies around the world now. We, similar to Huawei, we are also a very concentrated R&D oriented company. We have more than like 100 patents in energy storage system field. And our main technology that we develop will be on the battery management system, the energy management system, and also the system designing area. We triple our growth since like 2012 up until 2015. And currently we provide roughly around 1 gigawatt hours per annum to meet the rising market demands. And across the world, we have installed more than 40,000 ESS systems around the world in 50 plus countries. In Australia, we installed more than 10,000 of these in Australia already. And speaking of Australia, here's a brief introduction to Alpha ESS Australia. Me, myself, I work, like I mentioned in the start of the webinar, I'm the business development manager for Alpha ESS Australia, and this is one of the sub company for Alpha ESS. This company was established back in 2014 by Dr. Dong Lin, and we have developed our company in Sydney, and also we established an assembly plant back in Lonsdale, South Australia, last year. We have delivered more than 10,000 systems in Australia, like I mentioned just earlier, and we have, in terms of the after sales team support, we have 3 different teams located right here in Australia. 2 of them will be in Sydney, the other one will be in Adelaide, but we service all across the country. So, so this is a bit of a Alpha ESS product range. Like you can see on the photo, we do from residential energy storage system to commercial energy storage system and up to utility scale ESSs. Our core product will be the residential product, especially the one that we distribute through One Stop. It's called a Smile 5 system. But this photo is one of the battery selection, which is the 5.7 kilowatt hours battery. But the one that we distribute through One Stop is no longer this one. It's a 10.3 kilowatt hours and a 13.3 kilowatt hours. It is bigger in capacity and it meets Aussie's designs, Aussie's requirements. Over here in the middle, we have a T30 and T50. That's in our small commercial industrial range. Both of these systems was introduced back in 2019. And also we can integrate this T50 and T100 or even bigger systems into our containers. 10 footer, 20 footer or 40 footer, whatever you need on the energy storage system, you can always come and talk to me or Ramsey, whoever you feel comfortable with, and we can come up with a solution together for you. Now, a bit of introduction on Alpha ESS product available through One Stop Warehouse. One of the key products that we are distributing through One Stop is the Smile 5 product. It's the one with 10.3 kilowatt hours battery capacity. And also we will soon be introducing, not soon, I think is already available now. We will have the 13.3 kilowatt hours battery available through One Stop as well. It's a very classic black and white design. It has stability, and it's durable. We introduced our very first Smile 5 into the country back in 2015. and it had the oldest one has been up and running for 5 years without a problem. The system have a 5 kilowatt power rating and comes with a standard 10.3 or 13.3 kilowatt hours battery. Sometimes people might find it a bit hard to understand. The way that I see it, we call this design a Lego design. So it doesn't come with any cabinet. What it does is have an inverter on top of it and also have a stacked up battery underneath it. 10.3 and 13.3 are just two different types of Lego pieces. So you can mix and match them together, but not one to another. So for example, if you already have a 10.3, you cannot add another 13.3 to it. All right. The beauty of this design is cabinet free. This is one of the revolutions that we developed since our second generation. This is our third generation device, which is cabinet free. So it's very easy to install for the installers, and also it is very sleek if you take a look at it. The whole system is IP65 rated, and you can put them outdoor, and as long as it meets the installation requirements and standards, you can pretty much put them anywhere. So here's a bit of a technical details for this product. Like I mentioned, the whole system, including the battery, including the inverters, they're all IP65 rated. The 10.3 kilowatt hours battery has 90% depth of discharge, but it gives a constant 5 kilowatts output. In terms of the inverter, it can be connected to maximum 6.66 kilowatts worth of panels on top of it, and it gives a continuous 5 kilowatts rated AC power. The backup of this inverter can take up to 20 amps on the backup. So if you, and this is already built in the inverter. You don't need an extra device. For this inverter, it has a backup circuit built in that inverter. All you need to do is just to wire up your essential circuit to that terminal, and it should be fine. The whole system has a maximum efficiency at 97.6%. And the total height of the system is roughly around 1.5 meters tall, including the inverter. So what I'm saying is from here to here, it'll be 1.5 meters tall, around 600 millimeters wide and 250 millimeters depth. This whole system will be sitting on the ground. At the same time, it mounts to the wall. All the waste will be carried by the ground. By mounting to the wall, it's just preventing the whole system from falling down. Right. So this is pretty much it for the Smart 5. Now there is one more product that I would like to introduce. This is a brand new product that we will be dealing through One Stop. So it's called the H30. H30 is a off-grid system for Australia. It will be on and off-grid switching in the future days, but when we first introduced them to Australia, we only use them for off-grid purposes. This is a 30 kilowatt hybrid system. 30 kilowatt represents the power rating for the system, so it'll give you 30 kilowatts continuous charge and discharge. It is also hybrid. That means you can plug your PV panels directly onto it. The maximum PV that you can put onto this device is 60 kilowatt with 2 Mpppts. Therefore, if you do want to put them on the supermarket, if you have different orientations on the roof, you can still use this, right? And for the batteries, it's designed to your own. It starts from 60 kilowatt hours of battery storage, and then it can be expanded up to megawatt hours. So this product will be released early December, and it will be available in Australia by the end of Q1 2021. A bit of a technical specs for this H30. Like I mentioned, it's 30 kilowatts rated power. You can plug 60 kilowatts worth of PV onto the system. The whole system is IP20 rated in a standard indoor rack, and also the system is 3-phase as well. And for this system, currently we have 3 different battery selections. But when we introduce this system to Australia, we're trying to make it very simple for everybody to understand. So we will only be using this one. It's a very cost-effective product, and also it's fit for design on for off-grid purposes. Speaking of technologies that we use for the battery itself, sometimes when we talk about batteries out there, we're thinking about Tesla, Sonnen, LG Chem, and now maybe Huawei. The different materials that is used through different manufacturers are very different. The technology that we adopt is we use lithium iron phosphate as our chemistry material in our battery, and that's one of our very one of the key factors that we value. Reason being is lithium iron phosphate batteries is the safest kind in lithium families, although it might chew up a little bit more space and it's slightly bit heavier compared to other materials, but we always put safety in front of anything else. Nobody wants to place a ticking bomb inside their house. So regardless of the Smart 5 or the H30 that's about to come through, we all be using lithium iron phosphate as our battery chemistry. Now, we can as a solar company, if you want to sell Alpha ESS product, you need to know who are your target customers. 2 products are introduced today. One is the Smart 5, the residential smart single-phase hybrid system with a battery selection of 10.3 or 13.3. It is suitable for a family of 2 to 6 family members, and also people who love to be green and environmental friendly. And also it is interested in cutting edge technology, because the whole idea of energy storage system is not only about savings on your electricity bill. That might be the case for PV panels, but for battery storage, it's more than that. It's about reforming the electricity distribution network from centralized to distributed, right? And of course, it'll help to save your electricity bill also. For the second one that I introduced, the H30, it's a new product, like I mentioned, designed for off-grid in Australia. It's very friendly for off-grid farmers, off-grid community facilities, and also sheds like with heavy electricity usage, like in the very remote areas, and sometimes outback servos. So that's pretty much it for my presentation today. Thank you, Ramsey. I'll pass it on back to you.
Thank you, Victor, and thank you to Haider and Steve. So guys, in summary, as you can see, both Huawei and Alpha ESS is very invested in their R&D and pioneering new technologies that are cutting edge and understanding the future energy landscape and adapting to this. And also they have products that are tailor-made for the Australian market. So this is what I believe, and I believe they've shown this as well. And that's why I think it's a good choice for you and all your particular customers. And that's why One Stop is proud to supply these to the Australian market. Hope you guys enjoy the webinar and brought some value today. I believe we answered pretty much all the questions in the Q&A section. And from the chat, I'm checking now. So Haider, you still there? Jim is asking, what is the battery life cycles for the LUNA? Haider, you still there?
Yep. Yes. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll come back on with the data sheet of the battery later. So at the moment it's just showing that this is what is coming. Still under testing. a lot of parameter and list testing, and we'll come on it later. Probably New Year, we'll do a launch.
Okay, cool. And also to Christian, to follow up your question as well, I guess,
Same
same
thing.
thing. Okay,
Yep.
cool. So stay tuned, guys. One Stop will also be your support network
Okay,
for any
so
questions.
Lyle Zeeb has asked about what about the oversizing question. Do you need to use I answered Lyle that the 7.5 or 10 is without optimizers. You don't need optimizers for that.
Martin Chape, will this recording be available? Yes, it will. And will be uploaded to our YouTube or our website under the solar sessions. So don't worry, you will not miss anything. Okay, guys, so now I'll hand it over to my marketing colleague who will now announce the winners of the prizes that Huawei and Alpha ESS has generously provided today. So who's excited?
Hey guys, it's Didi. Hi, hey. I hope you enjoyed this webinar with our friends from Huawei and Alpha ESS. So I'm here for the juicy fun stuff, the lucky draw. I'm just gonna share my screen so you can see what I'm doing. Something popping out of the screen. All right. So for those who watch the full webinar, your name is in this wheel for a chance to win a Huawei GT watch or an Amazon Echo with Alexa Generation 4. So I have everyone email addresses. So check if you are one of the winner, make sure you check your email because I will need your delivery address. So let's start with the winner of the watch, one of the two.
Hey, Cameron Decker.
Hey, let me write it down. So Cameron Decker, you are the winner of one of the Huawei GT watch. So check your email, please. I'm not a scam. My head up.
One-stop scammers.
Yeah, I know. The next winner of the Huawei GT watch is David Bruce. Congratulations, David.
Congratulations, David.
Christmas came early for you guys. Next. So the next two gifts are, as I said, Amazon Echo with Alexa from Alpha ESS. We got two of them. So let's see. Derek, you are the first winner.
Congratulations, Derek.
Congrats. Last one.
Lucky last, guys. Hold your breath. Maybe it can be you. Is my name in here, did he?
You wish.
Steve.
Steve.
Hey. Congrats, Steve.
Very good.
Vaughn.
Congrats, guys. Well done.
Well done, everybody.
And from my side.
Cool. Thanks, Didi, for doing this. And thanks, guys, for joining us today. Hopefully you enjoyed the webinar and congratulations to the winners again. And just want to say a big thanks to our partners, Huawei and Alpha ESS, for coming today. Really appreciate your time and your efforts for presenting this information. And for any follow-ups or any further questions, feel free to contact One Stop Warehouse. We're always here to take your questions. I'm working in the technical department here and we have 3 other colleagues with me. So feel free to shoot any questions and or contact the Huawei and Alpha directly. They have their local support network, of course. And on that note, I think it's time to end. And yeah, have a great afternoon, everybody. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for stopping.
Bye. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.